Well, hey YouTube, how we doing today? Everybody getting ready for a big weekend? I know I am. Just a few more tidbits. These actually mean nothing, but it's part of the play, right? So this past Wednesday, we had what was called the occulting of Jupiter, where the moon blocked out Jupiter, right? And back on the 24th of March, we had the occulting of Venus, which, according to some lores, Venus gave or Jupiter gave birth to Venus, right? So the first will be last, the last will be first. We saw Venus be occulted and then Jupiter be occulted this last Wednesday. Now, just that term, and that's how it comes up in Google. Just Google occulting of Jupiter. And it, but why'd they give it that name? Come on. We live in an occult down here. We got occulted as well. They got occulted. So that's just more stuff there. And first, the sun had to be taken out just like we were disconnected from our sun, right? Our natural sun. That's why it's the return of the Son of Man. Another interesting thing took place. Let's see if I can show this to you right here. To reclaim its title, right? Because they're again in some of those lores, Saturn once ruled the sky, then Jupiter once ruled the sky, or vice versa, right? So you're kind of, that's what they're telling you right there. Saturn has taken over for Jupiter. Okay, and then another interesting thing. This came out of Denmark, one of their news articles, and it has to do with tremors that they're feeling, and I'll discuss that in just a minute. All these volcanoes that are going off and the earthquakes that are getting bigger, right? Okay, that's part of the disaster card that's still in play till the end, and we're going to talk about that too. Got a lot of really weird stuff I want to talk about today, so bear with me for a minute. But anyway, it says at first tremors were thought to be caused by earthquakes, and then we read down further. It says no. It says, however, they came from an unknown source. It says not caused by earthquakes, but by pressure waves from an event in our atmosphere. So, like I said, when you look at what they show us, the depiction of black holes are, right? They're kind of like a funnel. So we've moved from the outer ring portion to we're actually in the narrowing of the funnel. Okay, that's why, in my opinion, the sun seems hotter when you're out in it. We've actually moved closer to the sun. Everything's a matter of perspective, right? The sun being yellow, more than likely, is because we're viewing it from a different angle, a different distance, now that we've actually moved closer to the sun, because everything's being squeezed together. Okay, I think that's why it's turned from yellow to white. It's just our perception taken from a different angle, and that's why it seems a lot hotter. And they know about this. That's why, they're doing all their garbage about global warming and man-made. No, this is a natural cycle that's going to take place because of where we are and where we're headed. Okay? And there again, because everything's being squeezed and put under pressure, that's why the volcanoes are shooting off. That's why the earthquakes are getting so much bigger. We're in that, like I said, we're in the birth canal. Now, as far as some of the other stuff I'm seeing, and okay, so, and I thought this in my last video, but over the last couple weeks, just different events have taken place, not only personally in my life, but they're taking place in the grand picture of things, right? So we had the playing all the Omega signs starting the film as ending card, and like I said before, I did the math and it worked out to about 19 days, which 9 and 1 is 10, which is the number of completion, right? And oddly enough, I know everybody's tired of the Fast and Furious movies. I got over them about number 4, right? But number 10 releases this weekend. The completion of a cycle. right? And it was also 9 minus 1, which was 8, which gave us the winner of the Kentucky Derby, the number 8 horse. Well, one of the things that happened personally in my life was where I currently work, the gentleman who hired me, my supervisor for the last 6 months, 7 months, whatever it's been. Yes, hello, Maisie. Announced that his last day at work, he's resigning, is going to be the 24th. And when he announced that, he announced it on the 16th, which oddly enough for me was 8 days from when he announced it till the 24th. And the reason I'm bringing up the 24th is because when I did the math on the playing of the new card, if it goes as long as the other card did, our ship date should be about the 24th. Now, the other thing that comes into play there, and people can say, oh, you're reaching for straws, da-da-da-da-da. Well, that may be, but let's look at a couple other things. The Final Four in men's college basketball starts this weekend, right? So if it's the final 4 days, that takes us to Wednesday the 24th. In some of the circles I used to run in the truther community, trying to find the truth, right? There was talk about 1,000 years being added to the calendar. So if that's true, this is actually 1023 instead of 2023. Well, 1023 is just rearrange the numbers again. You got 0, 1, 2, 3, adds up to 6, right? Or in the 6th month, the 24 makes 6. The number of the beast is 666. And some people will say that's a stretch too, because remember, the beast is the earth. That comes straight out of the Colburn Bible. The beast system is our old system. The rise of the Antichrist, as I've said in previous videos, is us. That's called the ascension. You can also Google, and I should have put this in my info on that tablet for you guys to look at, but you can Google, what was it now? I'll get back to it. Had a brain fart. But, black hole emitting stars. Now, supposedly there's a black hole out there that is just shooting stars into space. Well, if there's nothing there but a void, ascension is for everything. All the stars, all the planets, we've talked about this. Everything we know of down here that's been inverted is going to ascend. So, at first God created the heavens. So you got a black hole filling the heavens with stars, right? And you can Google that, just black hole spewing stars or something like that, and it'll show you, because most of these black holes, we live in the black hole, I'm pretty sure. Okay, yeah, it's just what it is. So getting back to to the 24th, that'd be Wednesday. And oddly enough, I've always known, people ask me about, did I ever have any form of retirement plan worked out? And it's like, no. They find it hard to believe that at the age of 59 going on 60 that I never once thought about retirement. And in fact, the one guy asked me, he goes, so you're just going to work right up until the end? And that's always been my thought. I'll work right up until the end, not till the day I die, just right up till the end. Somehow I've always known that the end was going to occur in my lifetime. And another clue that's out there, they call people baby boomers and millennials. Well, now we're on Generation Z, right? There's no more letters in the alphabet after Z. So when the Bible talks about the last generation, we're in it. These events are happening really quick, very soon. And to me, I see them being right around the corner. Now, I'm kind of going out on a limb to say, hey, I think this could potentially be our day. Now, will it happen or won't it? Because I've said that plenty of times. I feel kind of like the kid at Christmas. It's still a week away, but I already know all the presents under the tree. So I'm always hopeful and anticipating when the day will arrive, because it is coming. Now, the twinkling of an eye thing, people have asked me, well, how does that work out? The best way I can tell you to view the twinkling of an eye through visualization, because people have to see to believe sometimes, right? And whether you're a Star Trek fan or not, or, you know, whatever labels you want to put on that stuff, it's in the movies, it's in everything. Just look up Star Trek. Oh, what did I do there? Star Trek, the New Generation series, and there was an episode, I think it was in season 3, called Yesterday's Enterprise. And if you can, you know, if you take out the commercials, it's an hour-long TV program. It wasn't one of their movies. You know, you've only got about 45 minutes of viewing to tolerate if you don't like Star Trek, but you will see how when the show starts, they're all in one uniform. There are certain people on the bridge, Worf and everybody, if you're familiar with it. And then they encounter this region of space, and I don't remember what they called it. To me, it was like a funnel, a vortex, I think is what they called it. But as soon as they encountered the vortex, everything changed. The colors of the uniform, the people that were on the bridge, Worf's not there no more. Tasha Yar is, who used to be in Worf's position until she was killed. Those of you who watch the program, you may even know this episode that I'm talking about. But you really need to give it a look, because that's exactly how it's going to go down. Just like I've said a long time ago, 1 minute we're going to be right here, the next minute we're going to be in a different realm. Now, the funny thing about it is, and this, I've said this a bunch, that we're not going to remember this realm. This realm was never meant to be, because we are time travelers. We can't experience people's memories, stuff like that. All this has to be wiped from the slate. So even the videos I'm doing are meaningless, because we're not going to remember watching them. I'm not going to remember doing them. It's going to be completely unimportant at that time when we shift, because we're just going to go back to reality and how things were probably some 356,000 years ago, is my guess. So, now, people discuss 3 days of darkness all the time, about it's the night of the soul and all dark soul and all this stuff. And, you know, I think the 3 days of darkness, that what was real, that's when we got detached from our sun. Now, and they're really drumming up the fear porn too. This should be a good clue. You know, they're threatening issues with the money, with this whole BRIC system. And, you know, of course, for weeks now, they've been ramping up, you know, this whole World War III. You know, if they were to shut down communications, say, for the last 3 days, how many people would think we're actually involved in a war? Because in war, that's one of the first things they go for is communications, right? So if we do, I'm not going to say we're going to experience any of that, but I think if we do experience 3 days of darkness, it's just going to be a lack of communication to help drum up the war fear porn. You know, in the Bible, it talks about the apocalypse is just the unveiling, you know, the learning the truth, and everybody's glued to their TVs with the Bidens and Trump, and you think you're going to get the truth there. No, it's not about this realm. The truth that they're showing you is out there, kind of as I'm seeing it, quite honestly, about who we once were, who we're going to be again, the steps that were taken to put us in this mess. I don't have it all figured out, but like I said, I don't think it's ever out there to be all figured out, because again, in the end, it just doesn't matter. So, you know, in some ways, knowing what I know, I kind of feel like I've been spinning my wheels for the last 10 years, even studying all this stuff, since as it turns out, it doesn't even matter. But, you know, there's a purpose to everything, so it is what it is. But those are my tidbits of just Scott zany stuff going on currently. So like I said, if, you know, 24th, 25th, somewhere in there, I'm you know, thinking that's a good time based on the calendar numbers, what they've been showing us with the Omega stuff. You know, oddly enough, like I said, this weekend starts the Final Four, and yeah, we've always had the fight. You know, it's kind of like the boy who cried wolf, right? I mean, these things, these cycles have been going on forever, supposedly in basketball, football, but some of the playings of the timelines actually occur in the movies, in the sports, in your government. It's all out there to be seen. It's in everything. So, but those are just a few old man ramblings for the day and some real zany eyesight that I have. But everybody have a wonderful weekend, and I love you all. Catch you on the flip side. Love you. Bye bye.